गूगल की ब्रांड लाइन नहीं है. Do you remember any Google brand line? Therefore, the brand name is expressing that reliability as name, and the brand line is expressing that reliability as rely on us. What the brand stands for, that definition, that what we call as brand core, that is important to find. Will my brand stand out? There is only one key stakeholder, which is the consumer. नया ड्रिंक बना है, सॉफ्टवेयर बेवरेज. So who do I have to understand well? I have to understand the consumer well, because the consumer has mango drinks, cola drinks, this drink, that, and there are many options. So there is a Japanese brand, Congo Umi, if I remember right, which is 1,500 years old. So when a brand has tremendous clarity of what it stands for, it can last forever. But slogans, Coca-Cola has had at least 20 different lines.
Clarity, consistency और authenticity. इनको ब्रांड के लिए 3 पिलर्स क्यों कहे जाते हैं?
Because in the long term, what you want is, what is the outcome of doing creating a brand?
That means it is connecting to the emotions of the people.
100%.
Namaste and welcome to another episode of Unwrapping Labels. Today we have with us a storyteller who is not just an expert in talking about brands but also in understanding the DNA of ideas, advertisement, spirituality and rock climbing. He has tied these different worlds into one life philosophy. Kiran Khalap, a name who is known as a thoughtful leader in the world of branding. He is the co-founder of Chlorophyll brand and communications, where he has given a unique identity to many big and new brands of the country. Not only a branding practitioner, he has written on spirituality and personal branding. He has spoken at many national and international forums, and his podcasts and interviews always offer a new perspective. His work spans from national identity to D2C startups, and his thinking understands that there is a story behind every brand label. Let's welcome Kiran Khalap, sir.
So sir, we'll take an hour of yours.
Yeah, sure.
सर, आपने जो इतने सारे पॉडकास्ट किए हैं, इतनी सारी चीज़ें लिखी हैं, तो यू डिडंट, आपको तो किसी इंट्रोडक्शन की ज़रूरत नहीं है वैसे भी, बट ऑनेस्टली यू नो कि जब आपका रिस्पॉन्स आया था ना, तो वी आर जस्ट इतने हम लोग एक्साइटेड हो गए थे कि हाउ वी विल टॉक टू यू, एंड इवन हमारे स्क्रिप्ट्स रेडी नहीं थे, एंड वी हैड डिसाइडेड कि कैसे, मतलब क्या करें, ना तो नहीं बोल सकते हैं क्योंकि उनके पास टाइम भी नहीं होता है. So within 2 days we had arranged this, and today I'm ready to talk to you now, and so I'm very glad that you are here.
Thank you.
Yes sir. So we'll start our session with a small game, जिस गेम का टाइटल है सिर्फ ब्रांड, बिलीफ और बोल्डर. Okay. So it will like a rapid fire reflex. So I'll prompt some words and you have to just whatever you comes in your mind, you will. Okay. Yes sir. The first reflection, whatever comes in your mind.
At 4, na?
Yeah. So my first prompt is midnight chai.
So midnight chai, my first response is not brand of kadha.
Brand of
Kashayam. That's what midnight chai sounds like to me.
बहुत simple सा question है. How, like, you know, I think we have been working on content for 2 years now, but I mean, जैसे हम like the first podcast for this session that we recorded was with Santosh Desai sir, and you know what happened is that उन्होंने एक बार में जैसे contact number दे दिया and he like confirmed right away, and Tabassum's first response was, मैम याद है last year हम लोगों को कोई respond नहीं कर रहा था, मतलब like were we reaching out to the right people? मतलब I am getting a feeling like how can you all be so approachable? Like this is the 3rd podcast that we are recording for this session, and I mean we feel so much of difference. So like how can you all be so approachable at times? Like हम लोग क्या सच में गलत लोगों के पास जा रहे थे कि हमें कुछ response नहीं मिल रहा था? I mean, it feels like very different.
But even my wife is a lot of science. She is a arachnologist, spiders.
Yeah, we have one of the questions related to that.
Correct.
My next prompt is forever socks.
Forever, whether it's a brand or a, what do you say, brand, boulder or
Belief.
Oh, forever sock sounds like a new brand of shoes.
Yeah, great. Silence in loud.
Silence and
Silence in loud.
silence in loudness sounds like the name of a boulder. You know, boulders have beautiful names, right?
Yeah.
All the boulders, if you look at climb around the world, so they have beautiful names. White hopper, lightning, all of them have beautiful. When we go to Belapur to climb, one is called Gri, the other is called Chatifad. So they are named after their characteristics.
Beautiful and interesting names.
Yeah, once upon a tree, Mallu joint. They're all very interesting.
तो नाम के पीछे कुछ स्टोरी होती होंगी.
Yes. So Gri is actually a tool, a thing that we use for supporting a climber. And in this particular case, one of our best climbers, another new person was what is called as belaying. Belaying means holding the rope as the climbs up. If he slips, then you hold the rope tight so that he doesn't come down on the ground. And in this case, youngster was new and he couldn't control the fell, broke his shoulder and couldn't climb.
It's quite interesting. So, stuck in traffic.
Stuck in traffic, time for meditation.
Yeah. Okay. Zero gravity.
Zero gravity. The world's best climber. So there is a climber from Japan who has won multiple awards. And other climbers think of him having zero gravity. The ease with which he climbs, people say it looks.
Oh, that's great. What do you comes with jugaad therapy?
Jugaad.
Yeah, jugaad. Desi jugaad, sir.
Works sometimes, doesn't work. Jugaad works in some cases. It's dangerous.
Emotional RO
Would be an outcome. Peaceful mind. An emotional ROI would.
Mountain box.
Mountain box.
Mount in box.
Mountain box. Small boulder.
FOMO detox.
Formal detox. FOMO detox. FOMO detox is certainly trekking in the wild. No signal. I was in Kyrgyzstan last week.
Okay.
And I was there for 9 days. And there are several days on which there was no connection at all. A complete detox FOMO.
So how did you feel there?
It was like being connected to something very, very ancient. There is a very famous lake. And if you sit on the banks, being connected to all the things that ever happened there, because there is nothing else, the water lapping. There are no birds. There are horses, lots of horses, but there is no other sound. So you end up feeling this connection not just with what is there, but somehow you have happened there.
बहुत adventurous और बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है सुन के.
I don't think of it as adventure as much as something that I love to do. I go into the climb. For instance, I don't like water. Scuba diving or a snorkeling mission.
Okay.
Let's climb somewhere. Yes, definitely.
That's great, sir. Okay. So, last question. Side hustle, submit.
Side hustle? Submit. Necessary. In today's day and age, side hustle is absolutely necessary. You must enrich yourself by doing something more beyond your mainstream work.
मतलब ये आपके या फिर वो आपको उसमें इंटरेस्ट हो या कुछ ऐसा कि बाकी आप रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी से अलग होकर के कुछ काम कर रहे हो.
So I always say whenever I've been asked to speak to students at colleges when they're passing out etc. I said आपने हमेशा सुना होगा कि live your passion, but live your passion actually sometimes is very difficult. Yes, if you love something, you want to help animals, you want to do wildlife, you want to look after widows, you want to look after orphaned children, जो कुछ भी आपको करना अच्छा लगता हो, that you do over the weekend, do at the end of the day, take 1 month off during a year. So it ये जो मेंटालिटी है कि आइदर और, या तो मैं ये करूँगा या तो वो करूँगा, if you change that to and also instead of either or, you do and also. So ठीक है, फैमिली को ज़रूरत है, but when I have time then I will do, I'm interested in photography, I'll do photography. I'm interested in looking after widows, I'll go and look after widows. I want to teach young children, I can go and teach it. I can do it on a Saturday, Sunday. So you can do both those things. So it's not so much of a hustle. It is, you are happy because you are doing something which you really passionately love, right? In 2016 and 17, I was involved in getting the World Cup in Navi Mumbai, right? In bouldering. Every 12 months, 8 cities bid, and those 2 years we bid, and we got tremendous help from the Tatas. And sure enough, they were voted the best of that year. We felt very happy ki, people have come from so many countries, 40, 50, 60 countries, climbed that World Cup in Navi Mumbai, and they have gone back and said that this was the best. In 2019, we got a phone call from the federation, which is an international federation, and they said, do you know what happened because of 2016-17? We said, no. It got such good response, dunya bhar se, that we were able to go to the Olympic Committee and say, look, this is proof that even in India it has worked well. So we include it in the Olympics. So it was included in the 2020 Olympics. Rock climbing. So we are now so happy about that we put in our whatever money we can, bought land outside Mumbai. We are going to build India's best wall.
Yeah.
India is trying to get the Olympics to India in 2036. There is a very good chance that the 2036 Olympics will happen in India. So our aim is ki ek village child ko, we will get him on the Olympic podium. So that,
we are feeling proud hearing this idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I mean, that I have only weekends to do it, but even there we have been able to manage to create this kind of an opportunity for village children.
So now I would like to ask you that Chlorophyll has some belief like brand के idea के brands idea पे based है. तो but जो companies है या brands है, they might get famous due to their taglines, logos, memes or campaigns. How we are going to clarify this? So
the tagline, these are all expressions of, right? That is, let's say, the face. But what does the brands then you can so what we do is we have a process. We have model, a brand, we have 2 brands. It has 4 layers. You use that to arrive idea that the brand represents, a brand which cannot change over. In an ideal, the brand name will be an expression, the logo. So what the brand stands for, you may not know, the consumer may not, but it is through the logo, through the brand line. जैसे हम लोगों ने Meru cabs. So when Meru cabs came to, they said, अच्छा कुछ एक नाम बता. We said, no, let's go to this gentleman, Neeraj. He had been to New York, Singapore and Dubai, because at that time he had the places where radio cabs operating. And we came to the conclusion that what the radio cab idea would be total reliable. जैसे आपको पुलिस डाल कर fire brigade 100. So we said it should be as reliable as a police. Therefore, the brand name was Meru. Unshakable. Sorry.
Oh, yes, sir. Meru is a mountain.
Meru is a mountain, which is Samudra Manthan hua tha. The Meru was in the center, and they were doing the Samudra. That is why the name Meru. And then at the bottom, you can rely on it. So the whole idea of the brand is complete reliability, as strong as a police call. And therefore, the brand name is expressing that reliability as me. And the brand line is expressing that reliability as rely on us. So there could be a brand where the brand line is not very famous. Google की brand line नहीं है. Do you remember any Google brand line? There is no slogan.
It didn't come. No, sir.
It is not there. There's no brand line for Google, but it is famous. You know
Yeah.
what Google stands for, that it can arrange information from around the world, right?
Yeah.
So what the brand stands for, that definition, that what we call as brand core, that is important to find.
ओके सर, तो जैसा आपने मेरू मेंशन किया, तो मेरू, इन्फोसिस, एटमबर्ग टेक्नोलॉजी, ये सारे जो क्लाइंट्स के नीड्स हैं, तो
Yes.
ये क्या सिमिलर होते हैं या अलग हो?
अलग.
How they belongs to the different sectors?
One is what you correctly said, it is different. Second is place of evolution. A brand is to be launched. उसकी जो जरूरत है, if the brand is already exists, उसकी जो जरूरत है, the brand needs change because everything around it has changed. So you'll have to adapt your process thinking to those different needs. So for instance, if you think about consumer goods, जिसको हम लोग FMCG कहते हैं, fast moving consumer goods. There is only one key stakeholder, which is the consumer.
Okay.
आपको और किसी चीज के बारे में सोचना नहीं पड़ता. आप सोचते हो कि अच्छा, मैंने एक नया ड्रिंक बनाया है, सॉफ्टवेयर बेवरेज. So who do I have to understand well? I have to understand the consumer well, because the consumer has mango drinks, cola drinks, this drink, that drink. There are many options. So how will my brand stand out? Imagine that you are starting a restaurant. Now in that restaurant, there are two people who are important. One is the person who comes, which is the customer, and the waiter who serves. So you have to train that waiter well. If you are opening a famous hotel, then the people who are receiving the guests, who are dealing with it, they have to be trained. So fundamentally, then there are two stakeholders. On the other hand, when you're thinking about a corporate brand, a company as a brand, there are many more stakeholders. So the investor, the paisa, जो पैसा डालता है, the investor is important. The government creates regulations, so the government is important. There are analysts who analyze your brand as a corporate brand. They are important. So when you're doing that need of a corporate brand, that is totally different. When we did Goa as a tourist place, as a tourism brand, we had to speak to cab drivers, we had to speak to panchayat people, we had to speak to teachers, because all of them are part of Goa, the brand. So the needs depend on what is the sector, as you correctly put, what is the type of brand, is it a product brand, service brand, or corporate brand, or tourism brand, and third is at what level of evolution is it.
Okay.
Right. So remember that brands can last forever. Humans can't last forever, but brands can. So there is a Japanese brand, Congo Umi, if I remember right. Congo is remembered. Wait a second. Which is 1,500 years old. Chlorophyll was involved. Yeah, chlorophyll was involved in a brand which is 1,200 years old, which is called Eternal Mewad, which is the brand of the House of Mewad. Right? And it was defined by one single word called custodianship. So it has lasted for 1,200 years. It has lasted for 77 generations of the king.
Yeah.
The world's oldest beer brand is 1,000 years old. So when a brand has tremendous clarity of what it stands for, it can last forever. But you have to figure out what it stands for.
Yes, sir.
So when you're thinking about brand lines here, or you're thinking about slogans, Coca-Cola has had at least 20 different lines. But Coke, the brand, still stands for family and happiness and all of that.
Yes.
So it had Coca-Cola sometimes it has Coke means happiness. So the brand lines can change, but the brand can't change too much.
Yeah. Yeah, so we find it really very informative.
Yes.
Yeah. ओके सो ये कंसिस्टेंसी ऑथेंटिसिटी होती है तो ब्रांड के ये 3 पिलर्स क्यों होते हैं?
Which is
क्लैरिटी, कंसिस्टेंसी और ऑथेंटिसिटी, इनको
Correct.
ब्रांड के लिए 3 पिलर्स क्यों कहे जाते हैं?
because in the long term, what you want is what is the outcome of creating a brand. Now, there are two big outcomes. One is loyalty, and one is a premium. So you will either pay more for a brand, or you might pay the same for the brand, but you will consistently choose only that brand. That's how, when you think about, there is a lot of what is called as acquisition of a brand. One brand takes over another, right? So Mariko has a brand called Swikar, some other company has bought it. Why has it bought it? Because in their mind they are saying Swikar ke jo customers hai, they will consumers hai, they will continue to buy Swikar for the next 10 years. Therefore, I will continue to get revenue from that buyer. So my income is assured. That is the reason why brand delivers that loyalty. Or the brand can deliver a premium. Everything else costs so much, an Apple phone costs much more. Even though feature-wise the Samsung might be the same, you will still buy a Apple phone because you are paying a premium for the brand. So when you think about that clarity, authenticity, all those pillars, they all contribute to creating this relationship of trust. Trust is the outcome. I can't come to you and say, Divya, trust me. You will have, I'll have to do something for you where you say, okay, I trust Kiran. So when a brand is authentic, when the brand says, maine galti ki, then you are authentic. Or when the brand says, there is a brand called Everlane. When Everlane came about 9-10 years ago in the US, it not only put down the price, the cost of all the material that went into it, it also put down what profit it was making. So if you're wearing that blue shirt, they will say, this blue shirt, the kapde ka bhav itna hai, स्टिचिंग का भाव इतना है, कॉस्ट बटन्स का कॉस्ट इतना है, एंड हमारा प्रॉफिट है XYZ. वो सब मिला के द कॉस्ट फॉर यू, प्राइस फॉर यू इज 120 rupees. But same shirt, if you buy elsewhere, it will cost 200 rupees. So it was a revolution. Nobody had ever mentioned the profit they make on each thing. So for a long time, it became the favorite. Then there was some discovery, I think either New York Times or Washington Post, somebody did a story on them and said that it is not all true, but now they have recovered. But the fact is that that is a kind of authenticity. So Amul, if you take Amul as a brand, Amul as a brand says, I will give the maximum amount of money to the farmer. I will charge the minimum cost to the consumer. और जो बचा है वो अपने लिए रखूंगा, which is very different
right.
An international brand which says I want the maximum profit from the consumer for myself, so I will charge more to the consumer and I will pay less to the farmer. So that's a fundamental difference between Amul as a brand and any international brand.
That means it is connecting to the emotions of the people.
100%. Self-rationally, you won't be able to make a brand. I just come to you and say, yeah, this is what you need to connect to. They say that you need to connect to why the brand exists in the first place. If you think about Fab India is saying India has millions of people who work by hand. Okay,
manual workers.
फैक्ट्रीज होती रहेंगी, लेकिन हम लोग जो बेचेंगे ना, दैट विल बी हैंडमेड.
Mm-hmm.
We want to create a market for these millions of people. So the
Correct.
word mass manufacturing, उसका मतलब ही उन लोगों ने अलग कर दिया. Mass manufacturing means not manufactured in a factory, but manufactured by the masses, which is a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
of changing that description.
Right.
For a long time, companies had this idea that we should have a vision and we should have a mission.
Hmm.
But there was no formal way of defining what the vision is and what the mission is.
Mhm.
So what this image is saying is that that idea of vision was done by what is called as a stochastic process, which means you don't know the outcome. You are throwing things at a particular thing or hoping that it will not damage that man who's been stuck on.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So instead of, and that vision is normally created in a boardroom. That is part one. Part two is it is very rarely passed down to the entire set of people who work in your company.
Hmm.
So the vision is written beautifully on a piece of glass or in metal in the boardroom. But if you asked anybody in the company what is the vision, they may not know. Third, it does not say that if this is my vision, what does each employee have to do for that vision to happen?
Hmm.
And fourth,
Right.
there is no outside validation of that vision.
Mhm.
So we
Okay.
have not asked customers or investors or prospective clients whether or not my company will be able to achieve that vision.
Hmm.
So ये exercise एक तो बंद कमरे में हुआ.
Mm-hmm.
It is unrelated to the reality of the company. Second is
Okay.
it has not been passed on to everybody down the line. Third is it has no validation from the outside. Third is I do not know how to achieve that vision. So what we have been saying is therefore instead of vision, you define something called brand core.
Hmm.
There is no hit and miss like in this case. That brand core is a thinking takes into consideration everything that you think about your brand,
Right.
but then gets a reality check from the outside world. It is no longer restricted to your boardroom. Boardroom में बैठ के किया हुआ नहीं है. So you go out and you say, if I am trying to define myself, so you say Kiran can Kiran become a winner of a literature award? He wants to do that. Now, if you ask people, outside people, they'll say, हाँ, possibility है क्योंकि he has written 3 books. He's writing
Yeah.
the 4th one. And he's already won an award once many years ago, an Indo-UK award. So we feel that it is possible. That is a
Right.
reality check from the outside world.
Hmm.
If you asked somebody that Kiran's dream, Kiran's vision is to become the world's best swimmer, in the outside world, whether it is my wife or my friends, they'll say this vision is not valid actually because Kiran doesn't like water. He can swim.
Yeah.
He doesn't enjoy swimming. So the words are very clear. I think it's a lovely idea of unwrapping. It gives me the sense that sometimes there is a reality which is tightly bound over time. And what this image says is that I will unwrap that reality. उसके अंदर क्या क्या छिपा हुआ था, that I will slowly open up and present to the world. And because of the colors, etc., when you are unwrapping, you're talking about something very happy. It is not a sorrowful unwrapping of something. If I look at the person's hands, then that person is reaching for the stars, the moon, the sun. So there is a lot of aspiration built into this. And it is inclusive because at the bottom of the page is something written in Braille. So even a person who doesn't have eyes to see can feel the entire sense of reality being unwrapped. I should tell you that when we were doing a brand called Ayush for Unilever in between 2000 and 2006, and we were trying to create sensory inputs for the products. So if you're thinking about an hair oil or if you're thinking about a cream, and one of the questions we had was, how do blind people dream? You're born blind. If you're not born blind and if you see for some time and then become blind, it's okay. But if you're born blind, what is it that you dream of? So we called somebody who was blind from childhood and asked him, tell us, what do you dream of? It was beautiful.
What did he reply?
He asked us, he said, आप क्या dream करते हैं? So we said, जो देखते हैं, जो सुनते हैं, जो टेस्ट करते हैं, वही ड्रीम में आता है. So he said, the same thing happens to me. I feel my mother's sari when she holds me close. I can smell her affectionate smell. There is a taste of what she has fed me. So in my dreams, those are the things that come. It may not be, I do not know how her face looks. वो कैसी दिखती है वो नहीं पता. लेकिन उनकी स्मेल, उनकी आवाज, all of that is part of my dream.
D2C और ई-कॉमर्स के ग्रोथ मार्केट में क्या चेंजेस आए हैं?
2 or 3 levels of change. So there is a little theory that human beings will change their behavior if between habit 1 and habit 2 there are 3 or 4 levels of difference. Okay, I'll give you an example. One of the world's biggest brands is IRCTC.
Right.
Indian Railways ticket booking जो है. Earlier, if you had to book a train ticket, you had to go to the station. You had to physically go to the station. 1. You had to stand in a queue. 2. There was only a fixed time. सुबह 8 बजे से रात को 8 बजे तक. 3. You had to pay cash to the ticket seller. 4. Right? And if you look at booking online, you don't have to go anywhere. 1. You can be at home. You can book any time, even midnight. You can pay online. So this is a fundamental shift in the way you're buying a railway ticket. Same thing is for if you're buying a shampoo online. Earlier you had to go to a kirana shop physically from the house. Then you have to look at what options he had, but he will not have all options.
Yeah.
Then you will have to pay him cash. This is all before GPay and all of that, before UPI. And then you have to spend that time to come back home. Now D2C has fundamentally shifted all those habits. You are sitting at home. You can look at hundreds of brands, not only that are limited there. You can pick any which way you want. So habitually, for instance, if you were in a small town, then the Nike shop will be not there in that small town. Therefore, you didn't buy Nike. Then you have to go to the capital city. You have to go to Patna to buy Nike. Like if you are staying in a small town, right? Samastipur. Today, what does D2C do? D2C does that so long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, you can book anything in the world. That is why it has dramatically increased. It has expanded the market. It's making buying very easy within a limitation. Like earlier, आपने पूछा कुछ categories अलग-अलग होती है. So there are some categories where you will not be able to make the decision online. You want to buy a perfume.
हाँ
You want to smell the perfume.
हाँ, we have to.
Yeah.
Without smelling, we can't buy
Correct.
this.
If you want to buy a
जब
lipstick,
हम्म,
you want to put it on and see how it looks. Yes, they
yeah.
are trying to, they are trying technology to see whether you can put it on yourself on a photo and see, but it's still not real.
हाँ, there is a trial on Lenskart too, that glasses,
Correct.
how अब आपके चेहरे पे वो कैसा लग रहा है, आपके फेस के अकॉर्डिंग, वो शेप्स के अकॉर्डिंग वो
Correct.
ट्राई
Correct.
करने के लिए ऑप्शंस देते हैं.
So D2C, if you look at around the world, all the new D2C brands finally have also gone into the shelf. So US में जाएंगे, all the D2C brands are now also available at Costco and Walmart and Tesco and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
there is to be a balance of offline and online. And that has happened even here. So Lenskart was only online. Now Lenskart has hundreds of shops because people will go there and buy it, right?
Right.
Ika has to create shops. So if you there's a very famous book on branding called The Long and the Short of It, which is talking about how much you should invest in tactical communication, how much you should invest in brand. And they've looked at hundreds of case studies and they have come to the conclusion that it should be 60-40. 60 for the brand and 40 for the tactical stuff. Because
Yeah.
for D2C, you do performance marketing, etc. But you don't build a brand as much as you do through traditional marketing.
Yeah.
That is the reality of D2C. And to a large extent, I think the revolution was created by Jio. So there is this presentation by the ex-CEO of Google India about before Jio and after Jio, which is beautiful. There are three which got revolutionized because of Jio. So one is video, one is vernacular, and one is voice. So these are the three V's which have exploded because of one of the lowest prices of data in the world. So before Jio, India was 128th in the world in terms of data consumption. Today it's number one. That is the thing that has fueled D2C.
Tell us about the names around you, like chlorophyll, halfway up the mountain, to pronounce and verbs. All these types of names are around you. So we want to know about it, ki how, why this all came.
Okay, let's start with chlorophyll. So chlorophyll.
Yeah.
When we started, our belief was, when we looked around, our belief was that brand consultancies were mainly design consultancies. They had award-winning designers, people who had studied abroad and had come back to India, and they did beautiful logo designs. According to us, logo design is not the brand. You actually need to define the brand. The logo design is, as I said earlier, expression of the brand. So we said we will create a very, very sophisticated, almost scientific method about designing, about creating a brand, about defining a brand.
Okay.
And therefore, instead of calling it Khalap Design Industry or Halve was my partner, Halve Design. So we said we have to have a name which stands for our beliefs. Is what, like I told you about Meru, that if stability is what the brand stands for, therefore the brand name should be Meru because it is unshakable, reliable. There is a brand we created called Quant, which is one of the top 3 mutual funds in India. So Quant, those people, the owners, the founders came to us. One of them was Sandeep Tandon, who is still the managing director. He said that we will give advice which is measurable. Therefore, the brand name was Quant. Quant means quantifiable. So we said, if we are going to give this kind of advice to people, then we should practice what we are preaching. So our name should also stand for what we stand for. So what we stand for, we wrote down at that point in time. Of course, a lot has happened since then. We put down first efficiency. So we said we'll have a small team always, but if a small team has to win in the market, then it must be very efficient. You should have minimum number of clicks when you're writing an email. So that's so we've done efficiency, creativity. Creativity means the classical definition of creativity is joining two frames of reference to create a totally new one. That is creativity. And the third said was not drawing attention to ourselves. So we have rarely, maybe in 26 years, we must have gone in for awards only once or twice, that also for very strategic reasons. So we will not go and enter for awards. So the first name we thought of was salt, because salt is very efficient. A little bit of mistake here and there in the food, and the cook will fight with the missus, and the missus will fight with the... It uses something called quantum tunneling to start photosynthesis the moment a single photon starts. So it is very efficient. It is very effective because it joins water and carbon dioxide and creates food. So it creates life. And yet people do not remember chlorophyll. Most people mistake chlorophyll for chloroform because so that was how chlorophyll came. If you think about halfway up the mountain, remember that my two big influences are my father and J. Krishnamurti. So J. Krishnamurti had this explanation that mediocre means halfway up the mountain, which means you have never really become excellent. You have never really reached the top. So this book is about, it's based on a very famous shloka by Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. It's called Atma Shatakam or Nirvana Shatakam. And there is this young girl whose father knows that he's going to abandon her. So he's desperate for her to understand that shloka, because he believes that when he's not there, the shloka will help her. And the fundamental thing in that book is that you can be very talented, but you may not be very creative. So that is why halfway up the mountain, that there are people who are very, very talented, like a husband is very talented, but is not very creative. Creative in the sense that it's not joining things or people. That's why halfway up the mountain. Two pronouns and a verb is about three youngsters, two boys and one girl. They are in love with each other. So two pronouns and a verb means I love you, she loves him, he loves her. These are all two pronouns and a verb. Loves is a verb.
Right. Yeah.
And it's also who am I? So Black River is the tar road, and the person who runs on it, run, is the cab driver. So Black River Run. He makes many trips. So it is the story of a cab driver. Live. So the fourth book I'm writing is called Playhouse of Light. It is about a very, very ambitious thing. In fact, suddenly AI has come and it has upset all my plans. Because the original plot was that all the conscious animals around the world decide to teach a lesson, because human beings are destroying the earth. So elephants and whales and octopuses and mycelium, all of these things which have consciousness, they have started to talk to each other, and they are saying, "ये human beings को हम लोग सिखाएंगे, सबक सिखाएंगे, how not to destroy the world." But now AI has come, so where does AI fit? I have to rethink the entire book.
जैसे कि आपने क्लोरोफिल के बारे में कहा, तो जो क्लोरोफिल है उसमें जहां भी हमने देखा वो स्मॉल सी से डिनोट किया हुआ है. सो इट्स अ कोर बिलीफ ऑफ इक्वालिटी विद इन योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. So how often do you have to clarify this small c maybe to your clients, to the people you meet or the newspapers who usually writes about you?
Yes, we try to. If you look, for instance, on our page on LinkedIn, small c है ही नहीं, because LinkedIn doesn't allow you.
Okay.
वो तो मजबूरी होगी. But otherwise, it's a good story to tell. So जैसे in the first 5 years of our existence, we didn't even have designations. Our visiting card just had my name and phone number.
Okay.
Then over time, clients started saying that, I don't know who I'm dealing with. हाउ सीनियर और जूनियर पर्सन है, उसके लिए उसमें डेजिग्नेशन आने शुरू हो गए. लोगों के ऑफिसेज में कभी कैबिन्स नहीं थी. There were cabins, their doors were always open. I would, in the last office, so I was sitting exactly like anybody else. If you entered the office, you would not know who I was or where I'm sitting, because I was sitting like everybody else. Everybody has the same opportunity to take leave as I have. You don't have to ask permission. You say, I need this leave, because we trust you as an individual to say that, yes, I have this personal need. I need to look after somebody, so I'm going to take leave, but I will make sure that my work doesn't suffer.
Achha.
Then everybody who joins Chlorophyll, however young or old, for 1 month they become the CEO. And they conduct all the meetings inside Chlorophyll and can suggest changes. So
किसी भी कंपनी में ऐसा देखने को नहीं मिलता है सर कि मतलब आप किसी को पोस्ट पे दे रहे हो एंड दे विल give out their thoughts or whatever, they can make changes in the company and all.
We have made many changes which are suggested by those youngsters. So all youngsters said, we are not spending enough time on creating. We have that book you saw, Identity. So your identity, हम लोग खाली visual identity बनाते हैं. We should also do oral identity, which means like a soundscape. So sound identity भी करनी चाहिए. And he is a musician. He plays the guitar. So he found a friend who could do it for us. And we started doing it. So ये मेरे मन में नहीं था. It was somebody else's idea and they did that. There was another young girl who said, because we used to have this fantastic culture when we had an office, we used to eat together in the afternoon. There used to be a bell ring. 1 baje. We would drop whatever we had. घर से डिब्बा आता था. Everybody would share the डिब्बा. So that culture lost. So we should have a buddy system, that whoever has experienced that culture should teach the newcomers what that culture meant. So that is something which I hadn't thought of. That youngster thought of it. So that is the way it's working. It is so. There is this very famous book on reimagining organizations. And that has these multiple levels of types of organization. उसमें एक type of organization है जिसका नाम है teal, TEAL, color के हिसाब से.
कलर के हिसाब से.
Orange, green, teal. In a teal organization, decision making is distributed. That is what we are doing. It's not Kiran Khalap making all decisions. It's distributed. Multiple people are making multiple decisions. It's a very, very different. That is how finally, because we are all equal. And this comes from my upbringing, how my father treated we used to give my mother a salary. This is 1960s.
One more question rising my mind, that the word identity is there is an extra A added over there.
Right.
So वो जो A है उसका क्या idea है उसके पीछे?
This is the brand. The brand, we are saying the brand is defined as an idea. Right? The brand is, whether it is Meru or Quant or whatever, SBI Life, it is defined as an idea. And its expression in the logo should also be an idea. So if you have a real estate company, then that brand ka logo shows a building. But I already know that you make buildings. What I want to know is, what is your belief system? So we are saying, now that I have defined the brand, can I express it as an idea? That is why identity.
So sir, ये जो identity है, हॉलन है, एंथ्रोप, ये लिटमस, ये जो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट कॉन्सेप्ट्स को सेव देने का ये जो प्रोसेस है, तो इसके पीछे का पर्पस क्या है?
These are all internal. We don't use Anthrop externally.
अच्छा.
When we are doing our analysis, that is when we use Unwrap, or when we are doing it internally, we use colon. So these are names हम लोगों ने अपने लिए बनाए हैं. We don't use them too much outside. They are names of models that we use internally. Like our every Tuesday हम लोग की जो मीटिंग होती है, weekly meeting, that meeting is called photosynthesis.
हाँ.
Which is what chlorophyll does. Chlorophyll creates
Correct. Chlorophyll brings photosynthesis.
It's an internal thing for our fun and for us to remember what it is. We invest only in one brand, which is Chlorophyll.
सर आई वांट टू आस्क कि जो स्पिरिचुअलिटी है, एडवर्टाइजिंग है और रॉक क्लाइंबिंग है, ये तीनों हैं जिनमें एक कॉमन थ्रेड है, क्या है?
So it's a beautiful question. That is only if you see it as three different activities. So when you're talking about spirituality, there are hundreds of definitions of spirituality, right? So to me, the word spirit itself is, I don't think you can touch or feel spirit. So I have a simple definition. What happens beyond thought is spirit.
अच्छा.
We are 24 hours of the day we are thinking, but that is not necessary. It is not necessary. When you are doing some work, your working mind will need to think. But when you are not working, you don't actually need to think. And when you do meditation, you reach a stage which is beyond thinking. Now, if that is the base, even while doing advertising, even while doing branding, even while doing cooking, even while talking on a podcast, even while writing, even while doing rock climbing, that base doesn't change. Your identification as an entity which is not thinking is then embedded in spirit. That thing doesn't change. So it is, the activity is different, but the base is the same. So these are not compartments. That entity is doing multiple things. Currently, I call it Kiran, let's say, but otherwise that entity is doing multiple things, but these are not compartments. I like to use my body. So I've done gymnastics, I've done judo, I've done Kham, because I like the idea of using my body to do difficult things. Just 2 months ago, I learned what is called as mudgal. You know, that thing that pehlwans in all the akhadas use to strengthen their arms and chest. I learned that 2 months ago and I do it every day now. I really love it. So I enjoy using my body to do these kind of challenging things. That's how rock climbing or trekking and all of those things. But it is not different from any entity inside me. Now, there is only one entity which is trying its best to taste spirituality, which is beyond thought. So I am on the board of at least 3 NGOs. So one of them is called Protsahan. So Protsahan in Delhi looks after young girls who have been abused. And they have a method called HEART, which means healing with art. So they use photography, dance, music, all of that to heal those girls. And the founder, her name is Sonal Kapoor. So I met her yesterday and I was telling her that, have you realized how much you have changed over 10 years? And she said, in what way? I said, so I told her all the things that earlier she would say, अरे कितना मुश्किल है सर, ये मुझको नहीं, मैं नहीं संभल पाऊंगी, मैं नहीं झेल पाऊंगी, ये कौन से क्वेश्चंस है. एंड टुडे यू आर सेइंग, कोई भी दरवाजा खोल दीजिए, मैं अंदर जाके ऐसी बात कहूंगी को हम लोग को डोनेशन देंगे ही देंगे, दुनिया में कहीं भी. So I hope you all have that journey. Uh, that you will grow. Keep on, if you focus on that, is keep doing the same thing better and better. You will reach a stage of excellence which is remarkable.
So, sir, I'm the person who do yoga and all. So this is apart from my like work and this work. So I'm actually in my spiritual journey, kind of. I think I just started it. So one time you mentioned that your father is doing the Kundalini Vidya. So
Yeah.
do you also practice that? Okay.
So it had an effect on, it had more and of an effect on my sister than it had on my father. And she found a guru, and the guru told her many things. The guru has passed away. So she will be looking out for another guru, etc. My path is very different. It is because it was so influenced by J. Krishnamurti. J. Krishnamurti is more called as the direct path, where there is no structure. You just have to focus all your time and energy onto observation. And in Krishnamurti does not have a method, but I discovered Vipassana in 2003.
Okay.
And the gentleman who taught Vipassana, he is no longer there, S.N. Goenka. He had a chat with Krishnamurti and he said, this is what I'm doing. And Krishnamurti told him that this is exactly, while he didn't have that method was correct. That Vipassana also involves direct observation of what is happening in your body and in your breath. And that is how you understand all the emotions, everything that you have been through.
So do you have any like mantra which you apply in every decision of your life, like either personal or professional?
So I like I was explaining that I think for me, if at all there is an aim or there is a goal, is to go beyond thought. So when you see in a very simple way, for instance, when you say go beyond thought, meaning if you think about it, what we refer to as the past exists only in your head.
Yeah.
If you try and think about what happened this morning, what happened 5 minutes ago, it is not there any longer. It's a reality. You can't. Kal aapne aam khaya. You have a memory of that. I loved it. But can you touch that aam again? No. Can you smell that aam again? No. If you get another aam and you have it in your hand, then you can touch it and smell it. But kal jo khaya tha, it is not there. It's only in your head. And if you have a sister or a brother or whoever who are sitting and eating that aam, the way they remember that is totally different from the way you remember that. So the past is not even the same, even though it is the same incidence. Correct? Once you understand that, how will you act?
I don't know, but this sentence, like, this hit me so hard, Like, if we accept this, like, nothing is going to disturb us.
Of course.
We always get disturbed with our past.
Of course.
I don't know, my body got cold.
And there was a friend of
I'm
mine.
feeling cold, actually. This sentence really hit me so hard.
There's a friend of mine who was abused in childhood. And one day I said, if you don't mind, I want to do this experiment with you. Can you show me the person who abused you? She said, no. I said, show it now. She said, no, he's not here. Can you show me the actual abuse now? No. Can you show me the wounds now? No. I don't have any of that. So it's all inside your head. Why are you carrying it? So I do this experiment. I've done it for many people. I say, if you give me 5 minutes, I will prove to you that the word that we use the most, we use a word called I. I like it, I don't like it. I love it, I don't love it. I enjoy Amir Khan, I hate Salman Khan. I do this. So inside 5 minutes, I can prove to you that what that word I means doesn't exist. Now people get very scared. They have sent me SMS saying, sir, ये सब मत बोलिए, because डर लगता है कि if there is no I, then what am I? So I said, "Sir, I am showing you just the reality. I am not inventing anything." So the moment you realize that you can't change one iota, 1 millimeter of the past, and they remember also the past, that memory keeps changing. When I was 19 years old, we went rock climbing. I was leading and I fell 100 feet, and my friend was holding the rope. And because he held the rope, I did not hit my head. I fell on my back, and the rope burnt his hand. If he hadn't held it, I would have been dead. It burnt his hand, and we didn't know how to get him down. This incident, there were 5 of us. Not one of the 5 agrees with the other about what happened. What is in my head is totally different from in the head of the person who was holding it, is totally different from the 2 who came running. They thought I was dead, and is totally different from the 5th one who was watching. So there is no reality. It is all in the past. It is all illusion, but yet we will act upon it and therefore have problems in life. Sorry to do this. It looks very heavy, but it's actually very, very true. और क्या बचा है? ये तो खूबसूरत यादें, पर वो खूबसूरत यादें सही नहीं है. There are many non-खूबसूरत यादें which are making you sad today, but it is over. वो खत्म हो गया. Oh, that's why it's called illusion. Spirituality and very simple things. There is a beautiful book called Mindfulness in Plain English. It is so beautifully written. It's stunning. It's a Buddhist writer. Bhante Gunaratne, I think. The Mindfulness in Plain English. Very nice. Then Krishnamurti's books are not new, so they have compiled them. So there is a new compilation called What Are You Doing With Your Life? Very, very simple. That's also very thought-provoking. There is a lot of video stuff if you want. There is a gentleman called Rupert Spira. If you want to listen to him. Very nice, very simple chap. And the way he explains, because he has also learned this direct method of observation and then finding out.
Yeah.
So the only action of the human brain that does not create karma or reaction is observation. Any other action of the human brain will create karma.
I think observation is the only thing that helps the best.
Huh?
Observation is, I think, the only thing that helps the best, because जितने calculations हम लोग करते हैं अपनी life को लेके या predictions about what we want to do, किसी इंसान को लेके या किसी situation को लेके, I think observation is something कि like if you take 10 minutes, if you spend some time, observe things, I think that is the best thing that will help you decide something or come to a conclusion.
जब ये when you're experiencing that emotion, तब आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
Right.
अभी जब गुस्सा आया है तब वो उसकी पिटाई करने का मन कर ही नहीं. तभी you can't do observation, right? But after this is over, at the end of the day, if you sit, so my analogy is cricket. Cricket में जो third umpire को पूछा जाता है कि ये out हुआ या नहीं. What the third umpire does is say, I want to see a replay. And that replay he watches in slow motion. So in slow motion, it becomes very clear. Out हुआ या नहीं. So similarly, आज सुबह गुस्सा आया, उस गुस्सा जब आया था तभी जो कुछ आपने बात की, उसको गाली गलौज हुआ, वो सब तब अगर आपको मैं कहूँ कि ये मत करो, यू विल बीट मी अप ऑल्सो. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इफ यू सिट एंड यू से अच्छा देखते हैं ये कहाँ से आया, तो शुरुआत हुई. That I was expecting her to respect me and she didn't, or I had told her this work and she didn't do it. और है ना, मेरी expectation ये थी but she didn't do it. So the starting point was the expectation. The गुस्सा आया, उसने किया ना इसलिए नहीं. It started with the expectation. So as that becomes clearer and clearer, it actually that intensity dissolves. नहीं तो वो I mean if you ask people who are into health and this and that, they'll say that all this anger and sorrow and all that sits inside your body. You get body ache, you get neck ache, you get cancer. There is a famous lady called Blackburn. Forget the first name, Emily or Blackburn. She is the first Australian woman to win a Nobel Prize. And she won it for discovering something called telomerase. And हम लोग के body में each cell, when it replicates, the DNA has a tail. The tail is called telomere.
Right.
Every
Right,
time
sir.
it replicates, the telomere gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Then at a particular length, the DNA says कि अभी ये length पहुंच गया, तो अभी we should stop replicating. That is old age. So that is why मेरी तरह आप झुर्रियाँ आ जाएंगी, because the cells have said to
हमारे एज में तो हम मुझे लग रहा है सर हमें अभी 40 पहुंचते पहुंचते ही जुड़े आ जाएंगे. अभी हमारा तो जनरेशन
स्टार्टेड
I think we
आना शुरू हो चुकी है.
are going to get old very soon.
Yes, that's the beauty of it. So she discovered, then she met another woman who was doing work with what is called as caregivers, people who are looking after other people.
Right.
My father had Parkinson's, my mother had cancer, so we had to look after them. Mostly my sister looked after them. So she discovered that the people who are caregivers, who are looking after other people, who are giving care, they age faster. So when they did the test, they realized that because of stress, telomeres grow shorter. So now we have a direct link between stress and aging. And the opposite is true. That when you meditate, the telomeres actually slow down. They don't become shorter as fast as is expected. So now there is a direct link, proven link between what you're doing with your mind and what is happening at the cellular level, which is very, very unique to today's day and age. There is a technique called fMRI, functional MRI, which can actually test your brain as you're doing meditation, as you're doing, and therefore it very clearly shows you exactly what's happening when you're doing some things with your brain. You'll have to tell me when to stop because I can.
Yes. I think we can move to close because I just we were looking at the time and we thought you are going to
सर
be late for your
हम
meeting.
लोग हाँ सर हम लोग डिस्कशन में इतने खो गए हैं कि टाइम देख रहे, बट फिर भी हम लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि आप इतनी सारी बातें हमें बता रहे हैं और हम now we are adding something to our knowledge.
Yes, lots to discuss. Yeah.
Yes sir. तो सर हम लोग ना ऐसे सेशंस आपके साथ और भी करना चाहते हैं, अगर आप कुछ टाइम और स्पेयर करें हमारे साथ. कि हमारे लिए ये बहुत बड़ा चांस है, तो हमारे पास और भी बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस है जो हम करना चाहते हैं, बट वी डोंट हैव एनफ टाइम टू आस्क नाउ. सो
we'll do more session. Saturdays are a good day for me. I do most of my work in the earlier part of the day. जो operations जो बाकी है ना, email वगैरह. Then tomorrow I'll go for a trek and then that's it.
Sir, so do you have any suggestions for us or for our work, for our team?
No, I don't think very specific. I haven't studied what all you have done yet. I will do that later. But
Okay.
all the rules of existence online apply. Authenticity applies. So it doesn't matter whether you do it in Hindi. So one of the online rules in India now is language. So if you think about it, even I don't know if you've heard of TED. TED talks are now translated into 11 languages. So language has become a big identity in India, especially after Jio. We are able to speak to your phone, so you don't need to type. So you don't need a different keyboard to type Marathi or Hindi or whatever. So you are able to speak to your phone in that language, and the phone recognizes it. So one thing you need to think through is कौन सी language use करनी चाहिए. When you reach more people, if you use Hindi, do you want to translate it? Do you want to have supers wherever there is a difficult explanation? Do you want to have supers in Hindi or any other language where you're going? That is definitely a big thing. There is one brand whom I advise them to have a call center in 6 languages. They now do a crore of extra billing per day. So language has become very big because of the revolution brought about by Jio. One is authenticity, second is language, and third is consistency. If you have to keep at it. This homework that you did in 2 days, you'll have to do that. Keep on doing that homework. Find links. और क्या कर सकते?
Right.
So that is critical. So, for
Exactly.
instance, the most surprising question today was that visual. I never thought about it because I don't remember all the visuals. But you found the one which was most relevant. That is a very interesting way of catching the speaker.
So we had tried our level best to do so.
Yes. There are, even when we started in 99, 2000, 2001, I remember being called to Tata Administrative Services, TAS in Pune, and I was trying to explain Anthrop, and I couldn't explain because we hadn't spent so much time. Abhi to 450 brands, we have done it so, and I get involved in every single brand. I will do research for every brand. So I will go into the village and stay there. I will go into a town and stay there, and I'm talking to those people. So I have real first-hand information of how Indians are thinking. We did a brand in Ethiopia, so we would go to the local bars, to the karaoke bar, to understand how the youngsters are thinking. So that is the advantage today, that we have used that model consistently for 26 years. Okay. Know when you are going to put this out, then I can also.
So we are at our end of this session. So I would like to ask you one thing, that if you had to name 2 people who can tell us about branding and naming and the similar aspects what we had done with you, then who are they?
You want people who are whom you want to talk to in India? So there are great designers. I don't know whether brands. I'll think it through and let you know, because the way we approach it is slightly different. There is not, as I said, the design and logo, etc., are expressions of the brand, but the thinking about the brand, that I'll have to think who can help you with that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All the
Thank
best.
you. Thank you so much, sir.
किरण सर ने हमें आज सिर्फ ब्रांडिंग नहीं, जिंदगी के नए एंगल से मिलवाया है। वो कहते हैं ब्रांडिंग वही होता है जो अपनी सच्चाई से ना हिलता हो। शायद इसीलिए उनकी कहानियाँ सिर्फ लोगों तक सीमित नहीं रहती, वो लोगों के दिल तक पहुँचती है। अगर आपको ये एपिसोड पसंद आया हो तो ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें, शेयर करें और बताएं कि आपके लिए ब्रांडिंग का असली मतलब क्या है। टिल नेक्स्ट टाइम, कीप अनरैपिंग लेबल्स।